universal sin, he talks about universal judgment, that if we don't get it right, we're going to be judged, okay? But he also talks about universal accountability and universal guilt. In other words, if there were no God, we would have an excuse. God, well, I ain't happy. I was born like this. Yeah. You understand? But God said, all of you all, everybody that have come into this world, know of God. They have knowledge. Everybody have to say, everybody has knowledge of God. And when you have knowledge of God, God's going to hold you accountable if you don't seek out a cure for your sickness. If there were no God, you would have an excuse. But here, Paul said, it's universal accountability and guilt because everybody knows of God. How do they know of God? Huh? It says right here, how do everybody, every man that has ever been born throughout all the ages, they know of God. They might not know everything about, they may not have had the New Testament, they may not know everything out of every verse in the Bible, but they know of God's existence. Only a fool, do y'all hear me? A fool is somebody who will deny the obvious. A fool is somebody that will look at this red bench and say it's orange. No, they'll say it's black. I ain't looking at it. Now you just acting what? Like a, what about, y'all be scared to say a fool. A fool says in his heart, there is no God. They're just like me looking at that light saying, I don't see nothing. I don't see no light. It's dark in here. You see all this light in this building? Something wrong with me if I say that, ain't it? A fool says in his heart. But everybody knows God. How do they know of God? That's what it says. Because that which may be known of God is man. Every person that look up at the sky knows it's a God. You know, if you look at a beautiful painting, you know that somebody has a lot of skill to be able to do that. Has expertise in what you can look at something that's made and know how skilled the person is that made it. So every person that ever looked up at the sky or looked at the sea and the rivers and the birds and the trees, they know of God. And so God said, because that which may be known of God is manifested in them, for God has he showed himself to every person in this building and every person everywhere down through the age. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things which are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that nobody is with what? An excuse. Nobody has an excuse. When you stand before God in the day of judgment and he say, depart from me, you don't have no excuse. You can't say, well, God, I didn't know. God said, you knew I existed. You should have sought me out. Instead of getting so busy doing some of everything else and doing what you wanted to do, you never sought to find out how you could get rid of that problem of sin that you had in your life. They are without excuse. Amen. So Paul talks about in verse 18, universal wrath, universal sin, universal accountability, and universal guilt. Everybody is guilty before God. For all, y'all hear me say, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Amen. Let's deal with this now, because this sinful nature, we want to look at this sinful nature, and we're just going to deal with a discussion, and y'all going to participate in this part of the class, because the sinful nature is called original sin. Now, you won't find that word original sin in the Bible. It is a theological term, which means the sinful disease that we were born with. And even though another term that you will see in the Bible that will designate the sinful nature is called the flesh. Y'all hear me say the flesh? Okay, we're going to Galatians 5:19. Y'all know where I'm going. All right? Galatians 5:19. Now, even though it is designated, this sinful disease, as the flesh, guess what it really is? It's really a disease of the mind. But the reason why it's called the flesh is because where is sin? Where are sinful impulses manifested? It starts in you. It starts in your mind. But where is it manifested? Where is it seen and evidenced and acted out? In your body. And everybody in here know that your mind controls your body. Am I right? Am I right? You know, See, now, when I say mind, I ain't talking about that physical organ. That's your what? What's the physical organ in your mind? That's your brain. I ain't talking about your brain. I'm talking about what controls your brain, your mind. Your mind is your spirit. Did y'all know that you 3 parts? Did y'all know y'all 3 parts? That you made up of 3 parts? Y'all help me say body, soul, and spirit. See, body, y'all help me say body, soul, and mind. See, your mind is the computer. Did y'all know that? That's where you program everything. See? And so look what the devil did. Look what he did. Because God told Adam and Eve what was going to happen. He said, if you disobey me, the day you disobey me, you're going to die. You're going to die. You know. All right. So now, you know, Eve thought she got away with something. Because she didn't understand what God was talking about when he said, you shall die. She took of that fruit, she ate of that fruit, and she jumped up and down. She ran and told Adam, she said, Adam, look at me. Do you notice anything different about me? He said, girl, no, I don't see. No, she said, look, don't you see something different about me? Don't you notice something different? Like, see? She said, man, guess what? I'm alive. You're like, so you alive. She said, no, Adam. I ate. And then God said, what? He said, I'm trying to talk like Eve. He said, when we eat, we're going to die. Do I look dead to you? He should have said, yeah. If you ate, girl.